I know a few of you will be able to appreciate what I'm about to show you. Actually, you should all pretty much dig this. This is, I've never seen anything like this in person. That is a construction vehicle of some kind. Here in Chile, they are digging like dwarves. I mean, there are so many mines and so much going on. Still really don't have perspective. Okay, this is me next to a wheel. The tire is about a foot off the ground, and this is the wheel. Can't even get the whole thing in the picture. So I took a picture earlier of the shovel for this tractor, and it is unbelievable. And so anyway, this is it, and that's the 18-wheeler that it's on, except a lot more than 18 wheels. An audit will come to us all. There will be an accounting. Our lives will be reconciled to the truth. And if we're keeping clean books, that's going to be a great thing. But if we're keeping two sets of books in our personal development and our relationships, if we're hiding emotional debt, it's all going to come due. It's all going to come due. And this is not a bad thing. The path to peace is one of reconciliation to ourselves and the people around us and the world around us. It is much better to face these things in our own way, in our own time. It's better for us to choose to dismantle them than to wait for a time when we can simply no longer maintain them and reality comes crashing in. So for those of us who feel like we're not living our fullest lives, like we're not reaching our potential, like we have a calling or capabilities that we're not able to access for some reason, I would recommend looking at the pretenses to see how many we have, to see if they're using up all of the energy that we should be spending on actually moving forward. And don't let the people around you dictate what it means to be a human or what a human is capable of doing. Most of us are spending most of our energy on the pretenses, on maintaining the cognitive dissonance, and we've got a couple of percent left for doing the things that actually matter in the world. Don't let them build a fence around what you believe a person can do or be. Let's assume that we're capable of anything. If something is going to temper the vastness of what I believe that I can be, it's not going to be the people standing around me. It's not going to be anybody in this world or on this planet that's going to do that. The universe itself is going to have to step in and say, that's far enough. But until that happens, I will not temper my own imagination. I cannot measure my own health by comparing myself to a sick world. And the greatest men and women who have ever walked this planet are the baseline for what we can accomplish. There's something in me that calls me toward greatness. And that greatness is not based on what I accomplish in this world. And it's not based on a comparison to other people. And even though ego can begin to use it for its own purposes, it's not an egotistical pursuit. But whatever this thing is that's calling me, it draws me right through my fears. It draws me right through these canopies of pretense that I've built in my life, that are built over these beliefs I don't want to look at, these feelings I don't want to deal with. It pulls me right through those things, forcing them to crumble, forcing me to pursue self-reconciliation, forcing me to take an account of my life, to accept the audit that's taking place, to take a sobering look at what I've built, to see my strengths and my weaknesses. Because what we're here to do cannot be done without us being unified within ourselves. Any place that I can go with all of my lies intact is not worth going. The world, with all of its problems, is waiting for a unified, reconciled, honest people to come forth to solve them. The broken, disjointed minds that we have are not equipped to deal with the problems that we're facing in the world today. No amount of education or intelligence or charisma is going to solve the world's problems if it comes from somebody who hates themselves, who hasn't dealt with the deeper issues. We naturally gravitate toward making the world around us look like the world inside of us. So if we allow the world to be built by highly intelligent people, even highly creative people, that have canopies of pretense stretched over large parts of their lives, you better believe that they're going to build a world that might be stimulating to our creative side or to our intellectual side, but it will have monsters in the closets. It will have self-destruction built right into it. So time that we spend addressing these issues in our lives, addressing these pretenses, creating a unified, truthful existence, having the courage to face the things that we don't want to face, to look at the underdeveloped parts of ourselves, to accept them, to love them, to bring them into the fold of ourselves. This is not wasted time. Because what the world needs right now is healthy, integrated people. And no amount of mental acuity or technology will ever be able to compensate for a lack of wholeness. These are just band-aids holding things together. This is just kicking the can down the road until healthy and whole people arrive with solutions. And just as the problems that we face have been an extension of ourselves, so the solutions will be. We won't just come up with solutions to our problems. We will embody solutions to our problems. It will be built into who we are. If we look at the older generations as irrelevant, then we're going to make the same mistakes that they made without ever learning from those mistakes. If we think because they don't understand technology necessarily, or the relevance of certain pop culture references, that somehow that diminishes their value, then we aren't valuing the right things. And we will lean on the wrong things in order to fix our world and in order to make our lives better. We have an opportunity to look at those who came before us, see what went right, what went wrong, what worked out for them in the long run, what was the fruit of their lives. We could be so much further ahead of where we are right now if we look at those who came before us, especially those who are still around. Ask some questions. Find out what they would have done differently, what they would have done the same, what they learned. The older we get, the more we have a chance to see the cyclical nature of life. And there are cycles that I may be in right now that I don't realize because I've never seen it run its full course. So I think it's linear because I haven't come back around yet to the place I started. Whereas somebody who's 70 or 80 years old might be able to identify that as cyclical. That changes everything. Understanding the difference between a situation that is cyclical and one that is linear is really valuable. The difficulty of solving problems in a linear reality is much, much greater than a cyclical one. Because in a cyclical one, we can look back and see what worked and what didn't work in the past. This is something that our parents and our grandparents have to offer us. One of the challenges to this is that every generation wants to feel like they have something that's their own. They want to feel like they're making a contribution to the world that hasn't been made before. But a lot of times in order to do that, we deny the cyclical nature of reality. We say, oh, our parents don't understand, our grandparents don't understand, they haven't been through this before. And they say, oh yeah, we have, we've done that just like you're doing that. Well, no, it's different this time. Just so that we can recreate the wheel and feel like we invented it for the first time. That's foolishness, that's ridiculous, that's delusion. It's better to be humble, to recognize when something really is cyclical, because then we can move forward so much quicker and our contribution will actually be a sincere, meaningful one that is built on the understanding of the generations that came before us, instead of recreating what they've already created just so we can feel useful and meaningful.